Hi, I'm Phoebe, and I would like to call myself a photographer, but I don't know that I really can, um, simply because it's not my day job. I am very rarely paid to do photography. It's more of a hobby, but it is kind of what I'm passionate about. But really, I'm passionate about art, and I'm passionate about inspiring other people. When I think back on when I think about my motivations to be a photographer, I think about when I was younger and I was going through a very rough time, as everyone really does as they're growing up, but I don't have any memories before I was 12 years old, and I don't know why. So that's kind of a funny thing. But I have dealt with chronic depression since I was about 13 years old, and other health issues that were stress-induced that started around the same time. And music was the first thing that, well, that I've always connected with, that I will always say saved my life. But because I have gotten into very dark mindsets, and anyway, I always listened to music. I always blared music that my parents hated, and I'm pretty sure they hated me for it, because I was the rebel child that caused a bunch of trouble, by dyeing my hair and things. But when I was in high school, I got into this cinematography and recording arts class at a tech college, that was going to be half of my high school day. So I started doing that for the music because I wanted to be a singer, and I still sing, like, karaoke and stuff all the time. I love doing karaoke. But I don't know how to feasibly make a career out of that. But anyway, I realized in this class that I'm awful at producing music. It doesn't make any sense in my brain. Math and science have, like, never been my thing. I was always good at, like, English and writing. I'm actually a published poet, which a lot of people don't know because I don't actively pursue that anymore. Yeah, so when we spent the first semester of that class trying to produce music, I was really bad at it, and my instructor and I, we connected, and we became really good friends because he was trying to tutor me through it because he knew how much I cared and how much I wanted to do well. And I just didn't get it, and I still don't get it to this day. But then the second semester of that class, we started studying movies and cinematography and the production of those things and how emotions are evoked through imagery. And I was just naturally good at those things. And because of my relationship with him that I had built through the tutoring, once the year was done, I wanted to go into a fashion class the following year, and he convinced me to do photography instead because I was so much better at the visuals. And so I respected him enough to take his word for it, and to take his advice, I guess. And so I went into photography, and that was the first time, that was when I was 17, and that was the first time that I ever really thought about photography as, like, even a hobby. And it really changed the way that I look at the world, just like on a day-to-day basis, and maybe not changed, because I realized that I was like the weirdo in the class. But I mean, I had another friend in the class who also had like a really funky perspective, but he was really shy. And I was like the weirdo in the class that always had to be different, and I always had to do something that was like edgy. And then when my teacher didn't like it, and he was a good professor, he was a good instructor, but he didn't like a lot of my work because it was like kind of out there, and I did a lot of like post-production editing in Photoshop, adding in fake blood because we didn't have it, and like stuff like that. So anyway, I got out, I did a year of classes there, and that's all of the instruction that I've had with photography. But since then, I wanted to do fashion photography, and it really became what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to get into fashion photography, and I kind of clung to that. And I grew up in Oklahoma, and then when I was 19, I just quit my jobs and I moved myself out to LA, where I didn't know anybody, and went there to pursue a career in modeling and in fashion photography. But then realized very quickly, once I moved to Los Angeles, that it was not healthy for me, physically, or mentally, because I'm a perfectionist, and I'm also from the Midwest, which means that I'm just generally like 10 pounds heavier, I feel like, than what is standard for modeling. I don't know, but I just don't have the physique, like the model physique. I dealt with anorexia when I was in high school and when I was younger, trying to fit into what I thought I was supposed to be, even though in my photography I wanted to not be what I was supposed to be. So it was a very strange conflict that's always been going on in my head, about what is expected of me and what I'm supposed to do versus what I want to do because I don't want to do that. It's a very strange dynamic, I guess, but anyway, I gave up modeling, and I would still love to do fashion photography, but not in the same way. Now I'm just so much more interested in nature and landscapes and just the natural beauty and the more positive energy, because I had such a hard time with dwelling on negative energy. I think that's unfortunately where I naturally sit. And I deal with depression to this day. Just a few days ago, I had a breakdown and was really struggling. And I find myself, I feel like, at a crossroads every 2 weeks, where I have to make some big decision. And it always comes back to, how can I do more photography? Because that's just kind of what has stuck with me. And when I was younger, I would like collect magazines and like make scrapbooks out of the pages I liked and like cut them up and stuff, and then pull from stuff like that for inspiration for my own photo shoots, or even before I was doing photo shoots, just to make me feel better. It was just these images that would make me feel better in the middle of a breakdown. So I want to create so that I can put something out into the world to go into somebody else's scrapbook. I want to inspire someone to want to keep living, because that's what so many artists have done for me, and people whose names I don't even know, and people who certainly don't know who I am. But I think that it's just important for me to dwell on that positivity as much as possible, because I think that there's just not enough of it. But I have a belief that the universe is made up of energy, and it's positive and it's negative and it's happy and it's angry, and it's all of these things. It's all of these emotions, and emotions are energy. We are energy within a vessel, and when we die, our energy is released out to the universe again. I believe that we are all made of energy, and that as sentient beings, we have the ability to bend that energy. And when we die, our energy is released back out into the universe to be manifested again elsewhere. So, as a sentient being, I would like to bend my energy for positivity and happiness, even in a world that seems to always try to drag everybody down in a way. I think that there's natural beauty and positivity to be found. And where there isn't, there is positivity and beauty to be created. So I want to be able to create those things so that eventually, when I die, that energy will be released back out into the universe to manifest again elsewhere. And I'll just stop that there before I start crying.